Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Freshman Getting In series, where we explore transformative admissions journeys and strategic thinking behind them. My name is Valeria. I'm part of the team bringing these Getting In conversations to life at Freshman Academy. Today's session is particularly meaningful because we're discussing a path many students don't even know exists, the non-traditional route to Ivy League education. Before we dive in, I want to frame what makes today's story so valuable. Our guest navigated circumstances that would make most people settle for less. She graduated high school with a strong academic record, then faced an unexpected gap year, awaiting waiting for immigration documents. When her family received just 1 week's notice to relocate to the United States, she missed traditional application deadlines entirely. Everyone around her suggested the safe path: apply to any school with rolling admissions, get it done, move on. However, she chose differently. Instead of compromising, she researched alternative pathways, discovered pipeline programs, and positioned herself so strategically that she secured admission to both NYU and Columbia School of General Studies, programs where only 5 students from her entire school were accepted or transferred. So meet Sita, a current student at Columbia School of General Studies, pursuing pre-med and neuroscience. During her gap year and beyond, she built a YouTube channel that reached 10 million views, teaching English to underrepresented communities across Central Asia, made it onto Uzbekistan's basketball junior national team, despite being told that she was too short and and conducted neuroscience research on how technology influences brainwaves. Today, Sita will share how she turned unexpected circumstances into strategic advantages, discovered non-traditional admission pathways when conventional routes closed, and embodied a philosophy that has guided every achievement in her journey. It's not your choice to fall, but it's your choice to get up. So let's begin. And yeah, so let's start at the very beginning. You graduated from public school 240 in Tashkent, right?
hmm
2023 with a 3.93 GPA. When you walked across that stage, what was your original plan? What did you think your next year would look like?
that is actually a very good question because when I just graduated high school, I feel like I did know what I want to do because that was related to the filmmaking and like creative industry,
Mhm.
but because of the documentation that we have to had to wait, that situation was very different. So instead of applying to schools or like or even stay and apply to like local universities, I decided to dedicate my time to my YouTube channel, the platform, and I worked in the creative industry. Like I worked as a linear producer, I worked in the photo production and video production companies, and did my like just focused on sports because that was the period when I got into national junior team.
Mhm.
And I didn't know really what I'm gonna do with my education, but I know for sure that it has to be with American schools and has to be a top school. So I just waited for my, um, as I said, like for my legal authorization to live in United States and focus on my other works.
Okay. Okay. So, when, um, so you were waiting for your green card around like the last year of your high school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And there, the timeline also was pretty uncertain, right? And the gap year definitely was not the circumstance that you chose, but rather something that happened. Not out of nowhere, but it was like it might happen, it might not happen. I don't know. How did that change your mindset about the future? And um, okay, you shared that uh were you thinking about university at all during that time when you were expecting the green card? And what possible paths were you considering? Like,
So my parents told me that it's an option to apply to local schools in Tashkent and study there, but I was afraid that if I will get, like when I get in and like I will start my studies and then suddenly the green card will like be finally finalized, we'll have to leave and I will have to stay in Tashkent and finish my education and then come with my parents and my whole family. So, and that was the same with like schools in Europe and like other countries. So instead of starting anything, I thought that the better just s- take a gap here,
Yeah.
and like when will actually get the green card, start education there.
Hmm. Okay, okay. So take a gap year, wait until uncertainty resolves. Focus on what you can control, such as
Mm-hmm.
curriculars, your projects, your passions, right? Building towards applying. I'm interested whether you were engaged in active writing and reflection over that period of time, or whether your whole focus was directed onto building the projects and like doing the research. Was there any research before you were applying?
No, I actually focused on building the like extracurriculars and the passion project, and the reflection and the like research part was something that happened after, like
Okay,
right before the applying, I would say.
okay, okay.
Like you build and then polish and then you send it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Right. I think also one of the most popular questions, I think the most popular question that people want to know in the very beginning, right? Um, what was the academic profile besides this 3.93 GPA that you were applying with? Did you take the SAT and the IELTS before relocating to the US? Did you have those scores already secured? Or were these exams the ones that you had to take once you got there?
Um, the GPA was 2.98, and I was preparing to take an SAT, but I didn't because
Hmm.
I missed the deadline. And that was the same with the IELTS. But what Columbia did, they regard only DAT, the Duolingo test, and
Yep.
I got a pretty good score, 140 out of 160. So
Mhm.
I just sent it. And since I'm a transfer again, the case was they look at my grades in my current school, which
Mhm.
I have again GPA was 3.9 in like American college. So they looked at this. The language requirement was covered with Duolingo test, and that's it for like require test
Okay.
scores.
So when you're applying as a transfer student, you don't need IELTS, you don't need SAT. I mean, if the school that you're transferring from is English speaking, right? They use English for communication. So overall, you were applying with your college transcript and DET,
Mm-hmm.
just
Yeah.
Duolingo test. Wow. Right. That changes the usual admissions landscape a lot.
Mm-hmm.
People, when they go the traditional paths, right, when they take them, they stress over IELTS and I don't know whether TOEFL, SAT. Okay, and it's interesting, right? Because SAT tells a lot about how well you'll be able to prosper in the specific liberal arts, academic environment, right? Whether you'll be able to work through the readings, etc. Here, they look at academic record and where from they can see that from the courses you took, from course descriptions, whether they have access to
Mm-hmm.
this information, or from recommendations mostly.
I think it's more the academic records that the school itself sends to the school that you're applying to. Because I
Mhm.
took honors classes, which is harder. You have to have a certain GPA to be able to register for them. I took writing intensive classes. Um, So I did my best in order my transfer to be my strength, so
Mhm.
that that could cover the fact that I don't have a SAT score.
Mhm.
And I know that for like this cycle for 2026, most of the schools require SAT even for transfer too.
Okay, so
So I was lucky to be the last. Um, yeah,
the last cohort
yeah,
of lucky men and women.
yeah. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, the requirements do change very often, right? As we see, depending on many different factors, right? That are directly tied to university policies or influenced by,
Hmm.
outside circles.
Government, yeah.
Yeah, government. Okay, great. So again, let's review the timeline. The 2023 year, May, you graduated, right? And then there was some time after school, like the summer, the autumn, you were spending here in Uzbekistan, right? In Tashkent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yep.
and then in March 2024, you relocated to the US, applied to the school, got in, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then decided to transfer. Okay, And now I think one of the most requested, portions of your path, of your case, was the YouTube platform, right? When
Yeah.
did you start building it, right? Why did you decide to build it? Okay, what is happening? Okay. Hello? Asadbek, can you please, yeah, stop streaming the whiteboard? Thank you. Guys, don't try to, don't press the buttons. They all are red. Don't press the red button. Okay? I mean, you can use the chat. So, the YouTube platform.
hmm
How did it come to your head? Had you previously been envisioning yourself as a media person or as a person who's producing very valuable educational content for, the people from your region, right? What was it inspired by? Let's start from there.
All right. So it started during the COVID in December 2020.
Mhm,
And by that time, I already lived with my family in Tashkent.
mhm.
And as a person who moved to the Tashkent from Samarkand, I realized that like we didn't have the resources back there. But when I came here, I found that this city is like has a lot to offer to young schoolers, I would say. Thank you.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and when we came, and that was like we had um like quarantine shut down, so we all were home. So I realized that so in order to like so if Samarkand didn't have these opportunities for like young students, there should be something that we could offer in order to support underpreserved communities back then there. And I started with like just regular videos for English grammar, vocabulary, in Uzbek. And by the time that I started working in a production companies, I realized that I can take all of these skills and experience that I have from the production companies that I work with in order to support and like um, to improve the quality of the YouTube channel.
Mhm,
And the more like I work on it, the more people we had on our team, the more subscribers we had, and like and it growed over time.
mhm. The production company, right?
Yeah,
So you said 2020th, so that had to be something around like your ninth, 10th grade,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, what kind of production company was that? What were you dealing with there? What were you doing? Yeah.
And I don't know if you know them, but that was first one, the Abstract. So it's a video production agency. They
Mhm,
do a lot of really stuff that like very good in our country because they shoot commercials, they do social projects, they like all related to the video. And the second one was the Meteora photo agency.
mhm,
There worked as a liner producer, so I had a lot responsibilities there. This is like the most um, I would say the leader position that I have ever had because I was only 18, but the creative producer really believed in me, and she even told me like when like we also worked with the celebrities, so that's why when she said that when we work with them you can't tell that you're 18. So that was a lot on my shoulders right before moving like to United States. And this all also relates to again to my passion project because
mhm.
the more I gain, the more I wanted to like contribute.
Okay, this is amazing. This is amazing. I mean, that's a very, very formative experience, like both professionally and creatively. I wonder, how did you get into media and production? What interest led you there, or what opportunity led you there? Or I don't know, what life situation event? How did it happen?
I started, as I said, was 2020. That
Yeah.
at home, I would say, with my phone, like the editor apps. But then later, I was, I think, 14 or 15, and I applied as an intern for a small marketing company.
Mhm,
And then uh,
mhm.
so you started the intern and then you applied to other jobs and
Yeah.
then you got to the abstract meteor and then like no, you know the chain works. But I got into abstract very differently because
Mhm,
I really wanted to go there And what I did, I knew that they don't take interns, but um, I followed the CEO of this company. I don't know if you know, but it was Behzat Abduvaliyev.
Mhm.
So I knew where he was going, and one day when I got his location and the time that he will be there, I actually went there. I came up to him in person, and like I really almost not screamed, but I was very serious about my intentions, and I said, I want to be like intern in your company, and I'm not letting you go until you will get me there. And he was surprised that I'm so young. I was, I think, 16 or 17. I was very dedicated. And he said, all right, just give me your number and maybe we'll reach out if we will have space. But what I did again, I texted the other team member and I said, that like the CEO said that you have to take me. And he said, yeah. And I said, yes. And he said, okay, then come in. And I started, and then when I started, I said, oh wait, it was like it's like fake it till you make it. So
Mhm.
I made sure that both of people believed that the first one said to take me, while to the second one I said that the second one said to take me. So anyway, I ended up being there, and that all happened. Like, and I was
Wow.
there like almost a year before I went to Camille and was like Meteor production.
This is crazy. So it's like it's the power of influence and the power of intention, right? Like
Yeah,
really going getting it. It's very inspiring what you did, especially so early. So the media basically was, I think, the first and the longest thread in your, growth journey, whatever, up today, right?
yeah,
And that's the set of skills that you were, you know, um, that you were building from in order to, do something bigger, right?
yeah.
And okay, so when did this desire to, contribute to community, I don't know, maybe to solve some problems, maybe to fill in a social gap or educational gap, when did it come out, and what did bring, what was this something that, um, I'm sorry. Okay. What was something that brought it out? What's happening with my language? Okay.
Like, what was the reason to do community supporting? But like, what do you mean?
Yeah, basically, how did your passion or like desire to do something bigger for your society, for people around you, right? Or maybe to fill an educational gap or social gap, how was it born, basically? What from?
I think it was born because I have a lot of little siblings in my family,
Mm-hmm.
and so when I saw that, like I just imagined that there was a lot of people out there in the world um like pretty similar to my siblings, and I realized that I would be very happy if someone could give them the opportunity like to study the language or being able to afford the courses in order for them to get smarter, and like being able to be among the people that like have the skills in order to like get a better future, I would say. So it was just an internal motivation, I would say, to help people, help surrounding people, especially people that actually doesn't have the support in the places they didn't chose to be, but they ended up being.
Yeah. Okay. So media, then this social cause-driven motivation, right? And you started building the YouTube platform. I think, okay, Nilufar, can you mute yourself, please? Nafasat, can you mute everyone, please? Can we mute everyone, please? Thank you. Great. Okay. So I think we would all want to know, right? How do you start developing a YouTube channel? And the most interesting thing, how do you actually grow to the level at which it exists today, right? Yeah, please do share everything that you have.
So if I remember back again in 2020, what I did, I started with just my home app because I didn't like record myself, right? I just did the lessons. like, and you edit them and then you upload. This is how it started. And there's a lot of topics in vocabulary and grammar in English, so it's easy to, that wasn't something that like you have to sit and explore what like what do I have to for this video or this video. That wasn't the problem. But later when we got volunteers and like people on the team, we started doing more like a better quality videos.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I think it started growing when actually, as I said before, I put all the knowledge from the production to this project.
Hmm.
And when the people got involved, the amount of the views and like the people that would engage, that just started growing without much effort in the advisement, I would say.
That's interesting. So overall, the amount and the quality of content influence the views. That's it. No promotional strategies, no collaborations, just focus.
Not really.
Mm.
But the only thing that we did, we have like a Telegram channel too. We
Hmm.
have like, I don't know, 3K people now. And
Hmm.
what we do is just like communicate with the audience. So we know what they want, what they need, and how this can help them. Because they're like range of the people that actually watch the videos. So it's like a kids and like easy vocabulary and like topics for them. And then people who's taking IELTS and other exams for their work or for their school. So like we talk to them, they leave their comments, and we just know what they want for now.
Hmm.
But like since last year, I think I just delegated my responsibility to other people. Like I'm still in contact with them, but not in that not as much as it was before I started my own career and like on my own school.
Hmm. All right. You mentioned the team, right? I think gathering the right team that will help you, build a very successful project, um, is, I think one is paramount to, um, oh my God, I'm sorry. So anyway, finding the right team is very important, right?
Mm-hmm.
How did you go about it? And what roles were you hiring for in order to drive YouTube development? And yeah, how did you go about it? And that's it.
So I wasn't alone in this team
Mhm.
because I was really young at this time. So I had people way older than me that was also a very like significant part of this project. So the hiring and like the salaries, this part wasn't really involved in my case because as I said, I was young. So imagine like 15, 16 years old girl to deal with the salaries and like everything. So I had a person, I wouldn't name him right now, but he was in charge of everything and he was, I think, over 30 by that time.
Hmm. Okay.
So he had the experience with working with the people, with HR, with the finances. So I just really trusted him and like we had a very good relationship.
Okay, so that was the person who helped you hire people, and
Mm-hmm.
you were actually hiring people. It wasn't the situation where you say, "Hey, that's what I want to build." People like this is like we're not going to pay. You are here for the idea and for getting, I don't know, skills, right? And you're going to grow. You're going to learn a lot in the process. It was the case where you had the funding which you could allocate to hire, right? The people with the right
Yeah,
skills. Uh-huh.
yeah.
Okay. It's interesting. And so the people who you were hiring, were they professionals in their industry or also were they teenagers?
They were teenagers and professionals too. It was like a mix of different people with different
Mm.
goals, but
Wow.
it all came up to one like
Okay.
specific industry.
Okay. And how big was it, the team?
I think for like the team constantly changes, but the people that stay resistant, it's like almost I think 14 people for now.
Okay, 14 people, 14 people. But when, okay, on the timeline, right? It was 2020 if you started building. When did you start gathering the team, right? When did you understand it's like, okay, it's taking off. It's very hard for me to do it alone. Now it's time to hire people, right?
I think in 20 beginning of 2023.
Uh-huh. So for 3 years you've been doing that alone. You'd been doing that alone.
Yeah, but for this 3 years, it wasn't such a big project as it's right now.
Okay.
So it started growing as like a baby for these 3 years, and
Mm-hmm.
then it like significantly grew with other people.
Okay, okay, got it, got it. So like 3 years, and within those 3 years at the early growth stage, right? What were the metrics you were operating in? Like, I mean, in
Mm,
terms of like views or I don't know, interest, engagement, and also the output, the content output.
we'll rely on the views of the videos because the comments, usually it was on the Telegram channel. That's
Mm-hmm.
the way we communicate with the audience.
Mm-hmm.
So the views, the Telegram comments, the people that actually DM'd us too,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and overall the topics that was pretty popular by this time.
Okay, okay,
And
okay.
2023 was the time was I was like graduating from high school. So
Mhm.
I knew that the IELTS and SAT preparation which is gonna be very engaged.
Yeah.
Engaged.
Hmm. Right. Again, my question was a bit, I think I didn't put it in the most accurate way, right? I didn't ask about just metrics alone, like what were you considering? I meant the numbers, right? In order to, understand the scope of growth the first 3 years and then how it started taking off.
Ah,
That, yeah,
um,
apologies.
that I have to actually a little bit look up. Let me, what we had. So I think, um, if if I remember correctly, the views and like the overall feedback from the people was around like 10 to 15K because we didn't have that much.
Mhm.
But then in 2023 and closer to the 2024, the the views were more closer to 100,000. This is
Okay.
where the like the jump happened.
Okay. What do you think caused the jump?
Um, I don't really know. Maybe that me focusing more on this project.
Hmm.
And like I don't know, maybe it's because what it was only like a summer period time,
Hmm.
so people had more, especially students had more time
Hmm.
to study and prepare for their exams. And overall, luck too, a little bit.
Hmm. I also think that like you said it started taking off in 2023. I think before you gathered the team, you started gathering the team when you saw it's like, oh my God, we're getting more views. I think we need to, raise the
Mm-hmm.
quality of the content, etc., etc. So you saw that sign, that signal, you reacted, you built the team, and then you scaled, right? Um, then how much did that work, specifically focusing on the quality of the videos, right? How much growth did it bring? And what was specifically that you focused on? Because the quality is a very general term.
Mm, I really have to look again because that's something that I didn't really focus last 2 years.
Hmm.
But what we did, I think what changed it is the animation mostly.
Hmm.
Because if before it was just recorded, edited, and submitted, now it's more in a professional view because we have a very like better um like the picture on YouTube when you like press the main picture that you see when you just go into the channel and just the creativity that was added and like the sound quality, the topics.
Hmm. Okay, okay. Sound quality, the topics, I think better organization of information, right? Using some more maybe viral structures or not viral structures, but the one that engage attention more effectively and
Mm-hmm.
deliver information better. Definitely focusing on the visuals. All right. Okay. So is there anything else you would like to share about how you were building YouTube platform?
I would say if it can be really seen by the audience and the people too when you actually do something that you enjoy
Mhm,
and if you actually like it and like you dedicate your time and effort and all the skills that you have, it can be seen even if you're like not showing your face and if you're just doing something like you can find a lot of resources now on YouTube and the other platforms for English,
mhm,
but if you like find a specific um like specific case that where you can see that people actually need help or support in something, the right people will reach out to you by themselves.
mhm. Okay. Right. So everyone, if you have any more questions related to Sitora's involvement and experience in building a successful YouTube channel, please do share them right now. We're gonna give around 3 to max 4 minutes to answering these questions because we know that you're very interested in this topic, and then we're going to move on to the next portion of the discussion.
um, should I read the comments like
Um,
choosing or
I think we don't have comments yet related to YouTube, right? There were some in the Getting In group. Let me check out. Let me check out. Okay, where is it? Okay, so interesting extracurricular. Okay, generally about extracurriculars, YouTube platform. Okay, and then how you reached the level where you could lead a New York State government-funded study on brainwave patterns in digital environments. Okay,
mm,
we we don't see any questions related to YouTube platform. That's why I'm going to conclude that we've addressed and discussed pretty much everything that you wanted to learn about. And now we're going to transition to the second portion of Sitora's admissions case, right? Which is the research. Okay, so you lead right now a New York State government-funded study on brainwave patterns and digital environments, right? Um, when did you start holding this research? How did you start holding it? Did you have any previous experience in neuroscience, in research? And wait, is it something that you're doing right now in Colombia, or is it something that you were doing before you joined Colombia, at the state school that you been attending it before, applying?
That's something that I did, and I'm still on
Mm,
it before applying to Columbia, because that was something that I mentioned in my application. I
mhm,
started in my very first semester here in the United States, and it got funding only this semester
mhm.
because it was self-funded. But when I actually shared and presented my results in the research symposium, the the judges they noticed, and they like then the project was taken to a higher scientific level and got the funding from the New York State.
Wow. So, have you had any previous experience in neuroscience?
No, in neuroscience, no. That was something that I
Wow.
got interested in here because I
Wow.
worked closely with my psychology professor, and then
Uh,
we worked together on the neuroscience research.
okay, so you got into the transfer school, right? Oh, not
Mhm.
transfer school, into the state school. It was,
Uh-huh.
I think 2024, May, June,
Fall.
fall. Okay,
Fall.
got it. Okay, you started exploring psychology, different topics, and then neuroscience got your attention, right?
Yeah.
You're like, okay, I want to do research. Um,
Yeah.
it's gonna
This
help.
is how. the media person changed her mind to be a doctor.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm surprised because the media, yes, it is one thing, but I feel like uh deeper, especially considering the fact that you've been doing then educational content, right? And education is about growth, it's about learning.
Mm-hmm.
It's only natural that you start getting interested in how a person's, a human's mind works, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and I mean, in digital environments, which is media, right?
Yeah.
So it's like connecting everything you've been through to now science. Okay, so the topic, again, is a reflection of your passion, or did you craft it together um, with your professor, right? And then how are you applying for grants, for scholarships? Is it like applying to some special organization outside your school, or were you doing it in school because they have like partnership with some organization?
Regarding the research that was outside of the school, that was straight from the government. But if we're gonna talk about scholarship for schools like the Columbia and NYU, that was the partnership, I would say, because a lot of students transferred from my school to these two schools, so they have pretty good relationship.
Okay, all right, all right. Nice. So can you tell a little bit more about how you do your research, right? What it takes to conduct it and the level at which you're doing it, and overall, how long do you think it's gonna take? Like, is there a specific term to it?
Yeah, the one that I do, it has a higher stipend, so it has a high requirement. So I
Mhm,
have to do it for a whole year. So 3 semesters, fall, spring, and summer 20, starting from fall 2025. And every like a few months, I have to present my current ongoing results in order to keep it up.
mhm,
And at the end of the spring, I have to present at the research symposium again in order to like see if the research is gonna take like again to the next level, or it will be done and like published, and that's it for now. So what
mhm,
I do is just I combine it. So I work with my professor. We email every like we are stay in contact. Especially since the neuroscience, we take participants. We put EEG machine under brains, and we um, record the brain activity in your brains. And then using the MATLAB, which is another lab that I have to participate. I have to analyze the data that I got and then put it in the research paper, like the abstract, the references, the results.
mhm,
And so it's like a very long-term process.
mhm. All right. Now I think, okay, um, a lot of people approach writing a research paper, right? Like a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people. Um, okay, a quite decent amount of these people get published, right? And way smaller amount of people actually secure scholarships, right? Especially state-funded scholarship, which basically means that the state has interest in getting the data or like in
Mm-hmm.
testing the idea, in the like in generating new knowledge in this area. And I know that
Mm-hmm.
neuroscience is definitely like one of the one of the domains right now that is growing fast, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it takes a lot of attention from the government because again, like human brain, we can hack our potential learning,
Mm-hmm.
etc. So still, what do you think, why do you think they got interested in your topic, in your research topic? Um, what made it stand out for them?
I think I was about what I wanted to do initially. I wanted to do research in quantum physics because that's something I'm really interested in.
Wow.
But when I spoke to my professor, she said that it's out of the space, that they're not gonna fund this, and she said choose topic that's gonna relate to college students, to the ongoing modern world, and how the brain reacts to it. So we came up with the idea to do like research in
Mhm,
college students' brain activity, do and how like digital technology affects it. And the reason why the government was like interested in contributing to this research was because the outcome gonna help with the student body of the New York in order to like them to improve their, I would say, work process in their brain.
Okay. So
So
because potentially, right, the data and solutions like results of your research, they can help make education better or different processes at quite important institutions across the country or across the state, right?
yeah, and
Wow.
I feel like New York is very investigated in the educational system. They're like very supportive in this.
Okay, so overall, when choosing a research topic, right, think about where this knowledge that you're really passionate about can actually be used and what it can solve potentially, right? And
Mm-hmm.
why that can be important. Once you understand where the knowledge can end up and what it can address long term, right, at the level of like real world structural
Mm-hmm.
systems, yeah, you're gonna be good. Like you're gonna find a good research topic, most probably. That
Mm-hmm.
will get funding depending on like again who you're asking it from, yeah, and what their interests are. Okay. Now coming from Central Asian background, right? And I think you do chat a lot with you know, aspiring students who are preparing to apply,
Mm-hmm.
right? And who are either working on the research or considering writing a research paper. What is the best piece of advice that you could give based on your experience?
Mm, I would say read a lot. Like read a lot of literature, professional reviews, peer reviews in order to gain the information and then being able to make this information work for your specific case. So if like you read a lot, you find something that's missing again, and then you focus on compelling this little space with your own um, focus on work like with the
Mhm.
professors and everything in order to like make a complete picture of the whole process.
Mhm. Okay. All right. So read as much as possible about the question and the domain that you are potentially interested in.
Mm-hmm.
Then you'll be able to choose really good research topic because you'll see the landscape and you're like, okay, so that's important. That's not important. That can be potentially explored as just
Uh-huh.
an idea, right? So reading, and not just reading, I think reading was intention and like a clear goal in your mind, like, okay, I need to know how the industry works, right? Because
Yeah, like
I want to research and produce something that's going to help this world at different levels, right? And if you think in that direction and read a lot, then you'll eventually learn how to, you know, how to see which topic is actually important and which
yeah,
one
like read and
sounds,
analyze.
yeah, and which one just sounds really really smart, but it doesn't add up much to either the domain or the real world. hmm
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do we have any more questions related to Sitora's research experience? I think there was one, okay, essays, final exams. Underrated thing you did in high school. Okay. Are there, okay, okay. Guys, any questions related to research, neuroscience? You have 10 seconds to type anything. Uh-huh. How did you describe your research activity? Did you use formal tone or did you use some creative descriptions?
I use a formal tone because the like the research coordinator they send the exact outline and you have to follow their rules in order to be able to present it like um
Yeah.
so it was more like more formal rather than creative. It
Oh.
was kind of creative in the beginning before it got to the level that
Mhm.
when it had to be when it was related to the government. Were there
Mhm.
any um Not really, because again, I wasn't a lawyer, was my professor, and she knows what to do because she had a lot of researchers in their previous experience. So
Mhm.
everything that was if there was any problems or difficulties, we were together and she was in charge of these processes, I would say. My
Mm.
part was to do my work as a student.
Okay. I have one more question. So, you were working as a professor, and how were you basically dividing the work? What is and was or has been the part of the work that you have been responsible for, right? And what is she responsible for?
So my part is to find the participants, to make them involved, to get their consent, put the participants, connect the EEG machine to the device in the lab, being able to. So I put them in different conditions, and then I record the data, and
Mhm.
then I took this data with me in the lab. I go to the math lab, I put it in the machine, and again I analyze this, and then I take out the results. I came up to my professor and together we we write the outcomes
Mhm.
and uh, at least this is what we did last year. So and then I wrote the research paper itself. Everything I have to put on myself. And
Mhm.
then she just checks it at the end. And together we just when it was the time to the research symposium, we just went there and presented. So even when the judges come, she just was there. She was just standing nearby, but everything, the questions, the overview, everything I had to explain.
Okay. So writing wise, right? Because like research is a huge part of research is methodology. And I've read that mostly like when you're a student and you're doing a research with a professor, methodology is the part that they're mostly going to be responsible for it. Again, depending on the scope of your experience, right? Um, and mostly it's going to be like, I don't know, 70 to 80% they are producing it, they are writing it, right? And you
Mhm.
mostly are responsible for either outcomes, for descriptions, for like holding the, basically
Yes, yes.
executing the methodology. Was it the case and is it the case with your research?
Uh, I think yes,
Mhm.
but uh, mm, again, it was, I don't really know how to say it, but it was a very mm, non-traditional case again with the researchers too.
Okay, it sounds interesting. Non-traditional,
I mean, not
non-traditional
not not
in what
non-traditional.
way?
Since it was just a research inside of the college, it has a little bit different rules before it got to the this level that it's right now.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
I'm still kind of exploring this year how to manage it all.
Okay, and typically the way students, right, at university conduct research is how? Like how is your experience different from how students usually conduct research when at university?
Mm, maybe because it was really closely to the professor works itself.
Mhm. Mhm.
Here and there's I didn't participate in Lumire program, so um I don't really know.
Mhm. Okay. So still how conducting research usually looks like when you're at university, at an American university, right? And how is your case different?
Mm, so as I said before, um I don't know. I mean, maybe because that was like more the team project. I wasn't really on my own at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm.
I know, but when the students do research, they I, like see a lot of people that they're only alone. But
Mm-hmm.
in my case, we were like with several students in the one project
Uh-huh.
or
Okay.
research.
So that sounds like a pretty high level research group, right? Okay. Think that it is actually a prestigious option. It's better to work in a lab as a prof, assuming you're in STEM. Yeah, I think okay, I wouldn't give my opinion on research programs, but like I mm, they do give valuable experience as to how to produce a research paper, right? But like when you're doing it yourself, it's kind of more interesting because you're you're getting all the resources yourself. Okay, let's move on. So overall, when you were applying as a transfer to Colombia, right? Activities wise and case wise, you did put your YouTube platform and you did put the neuroscience research, right? What other experiences, activities were you applying was there?
Um, that was about the volunteering. I volunteered in a disaster response team in a Red Cross in New York. I put that. I put the clubs that I participated in during the college.
Mm-hmm.
What else I did? They asked for high school transcript once. They asked for like the regular transcript, the recommendation letters I got from one from my filmmaking professor because he knew that I'm very passionate about filmmaking, and one from the neuroscience professor that we did the research together. There
Mm-hmm.
was two recommendation letters. What else the for activities? Oh, I participated in some conferences like the Harvard College conference for international relations. I put this down. What else? Um, I think there's something like I can remember. Some leadership roles in the college clubs,
Mm-hmm.
volunteerism, research, grades, rec letters, and yeah, the mainly thing was essay.
Okay. So
They
the
looked at.
essay, the part that glued all the other parts together, right?
Yeah.
What were you writing your essay about? How were you presenting yourself? What was your core narrative thread?
For the essay part, we did it with
Mhm.
we did it with David,
Yeah.
with Sanjar.
Mm-hmm.
So he really helped to polish my essay. We wrote about the Passion Project, the YouTube channel, and how this led to community service, and how the community service is like a expression of leadership, of activism, of like dedicating, and like is Colombia is the next step of this educational journey that I had.
Okay.
And this aligned with the goal to become a doctor, like in the end.
All right. When did you decide to become a doctor? Was it something that you were like dreaming about as a child, or did it come about as like when you were doing the research and you're like, wow, that's beautiful thing here in
Um,
the mind.
I have never imagined myself being a doctor at all, but it came up, as you said, when I was doing my research, and
Mhm.
especially when we moved here and I saw that, wow, the medicine here is like the healthcare industry is very reliable, like it provides financial stability in the future. So
Mhm.
I'm not saying that I'm gonna stop doing photography and filmmaking at all, but I feel like I will work in healthcare and I really like it. I like the science and STEM itself, but I'm not gonna let go away of the creative part too. So I'm
Mhm.
kind of thinking to combine both of them. And
Mhm.
I feel like it's doable, it's manageable.
It is. It is. Many people do it. Just requires like advanced time management and attention management, which I'm sure you have. Okay, so the essay, right? How the YouTube platform, how it led to community service being an example of activism, and then how you built towards being a doctor. I'm interested in how you made that transition, and how you build an argument as to, I'm going to be an amazing doctor, admit me,
Mm,
simply speaking.
Well, it's mainly because of the research, because I applied to neuroscience behavior in
Mhm.
Columbia, and
Mhm.
it kind of aligned with all the classes that I took for that so far. Was the research, and the rec
Mhm.
letter was
Okay.
also from person
Yep.
who she has a like PhD in psychology too. So it aligned with this, and the passion project, like the goal of the passion project is community service, right? Helping
Mhm.
people in their
Yep.
educational um, passes. While being a doctor somehow also is like helping people again, but in more in like health related paths.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so your essay combined all your passions in this, the timeline, right, of how one passion transformed into the other one, transformed into the other one, right, and how
Mhm.
that builds up to Columbia. Great. When you apply as a transfer, right, the application is slightly different. Were there any extra essays you had to write,
Um,
like supplementals?
I think it had, but I can't really remember. The main was the big one. It had 2,000 words. It was different than the Common App,
Mm-hmm.
and a little supplementals. But the supplementals were related to the campus activities. I would say
Mm-hmm.
they just wanted to see if like you hold a leadership role in your current school.
Okay.
Oh, and
Um,
we had to prove that we're non-traditional too in the
okay. Okay.
essays.
So it's like in that supplemental, you have to prove that you're a non-traditional student, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
and supplemental and the main essay too.
Okay. So basically explain your circumstances and why that makes you a non-traditional student, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And okay, for what kind of non-traditional students the Columbia School of General Studies for?
This school is designed for usually. So originally, it was created for the veterans, people who served the country for like 4 or 5 years, and then they come back for their education again. So by the time they apply, they usually like 27, 30 years.
Mhm.
So, and this makes them non-traditional. But since it was in like 18th, 19th century, now, this school, the School of General Studies, is still like considered for non-traditional for people who, for like they don't have to serve anymore to be considered non-traditional, but you have to have a gap years or in your education, like it doesn't have to be linear in your case.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay. So also what stood out to me is that you took just one gap year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they consider you as a non-traditional student, right? Like I understand that there's also the thing I've been enrolled into one college, right? So I apply as a transfer. But as far as I know, there are two different paths for transfers, right? Either into Columbia College or again into Columbia General School of Studies.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay, that is the difference. So it's
Like,
okay,
yeah,
first.
if you don't have any gap years and you like transfer straight from high school to college and from college to Columbia University, you apply to Columbia College, which is separate school, separate application well, I think so. Application process, acceptance rates are different, and there is a School of General Studies.
Okay, so do they consider all people who took at least one gap year as non-traditional students?
I think so because I double checked because I wanted to apply as a regular student, but they said no. They said if you have a gap year, then you're
Oh,
non-traditional.
okay. And then another question. The funding must be different because this is a
Yeah.
separate school. And we know that Columbia and private schools are very generous with their financial aid, right? Meaning that,
Hmm.
I mean, Columbia is need aware, right? But still, if it admits you, as far as I know, like many people who got in from Central Asia, they got full rights.
Yep.
I mean, again, based on their financial profile, right? How does it work with the School of General Studies?
General, so Columbia GS, it's not, so it's need aware, so they do consider your financial needs, but they don't, like even in the application, they say like, we can not cover 100% of the demonstrated financial need. But my case was different because I applied with a private scholarship, which is Phi Theta Kappa scholarship, so they covered the tuition.
Uh-huh. So you applied there already having the scholarship that was covering possibly your tuition at your current college, right? Not current, but like at the state school, no?
No, it's
What?
the scholarship that comes directly from Columbia itself.
Uh-huh. Okay. So they have the financial aid and they have the scholarships, right? For
Mm-hmm.
general school studies. Okay, so that scholarship covered full tuition
Mm-hmm.
or pretty much everything, not just tuition.
Full tuition, all tuition.
Okay, only tuition. And did they provide you with any other amount of aid?
Um, I think I have some like, well, I don't really know because I'm gonna live with my parents, so I only have to pay for tuition and they cover tuition.
Mhm.
And as long as I saw it, I was like, okay, okay, so I go there. I'll go there.
Okay, got it, got it. Right. So overall, in order to apply as a transfer to Columbia, to Columbia School of General Studies, right? You do need activities list. You do need your college transcript, right? They might
Hmm.
ask for high school transcript. You do need again recommendations, activities, as I said earlier, the personal statement, and which is longer, right? 2,000 words or
Mm-hmm.
2,000 words, not
2000.
750. And then supplementals explaining why you're a non-traditional student. Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay. Great. Hmm. Okay. I think we've pretty much discussed all of the questions planned for today. Um, yep. Do we have any more to answer? I think we do. Ifora Avazova earlier asked, could you please share how did you approach your essays applying as a pre-med neuroscience major? We kind of discussed that, right? But the framing of this question is a bit, oh no, I don't think it's different, right? We basically already answered it. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. So the main thing, Ifora, is that you connect all of your experiences and activities, right? And you understand how they will help you to become a doctor, right? And use that education, pre-med education, you know, more successfully. Um, then final exams discussed. What made you unique among thousands of students applying to Columbia?
Um, that was something that I was really thinking about because really wanted to stand out, but I feel like it's better to have a few extracurricular activities that aligns perfectly with the vision and gets the admissions to see who you are becoming. And I don't know. I mean, the first thing that I looked at is the GPA,
Mhm,
especially science GPA, the
mhm,
rec letters, and the essay. And as I said before, the essay was something that we work closely with Sanjar. So it's
mhm,
kind of his work too. I
mhm,
mean, his part.
mhm. All right. What is one underrated thing you did in high school that presumably assisted you the most in getting into Columbia University?
In high
From
school.
Azimjan. Yes.
In high school, I think, because they didn't really, since I'm transferred, they didn't look into high school a lot.
Mhm,
But the grades, because I had a very good grades in high school in Tashkent, so that's the only thing that I looked into. So I'm grateful that I didn't get any force in
mhm.
my school.
Okay. So
Yes.
do you think they consider applicants differently? Like they prioritize some experiences more over others just because you're kind of more mature, you're good on a timeline of life, you're slightly further than if you were applying as a fresh,
Mm-hmm.
right? How do you think that influences the way they make decisions regarding admission?
I think they want to see people who had unusual circumstances in their life, the
Mhm,
people who had overcome some difficulties and still decided to go back to school, especially older people who has families, who has their own work and they still decided to like come back and go to school.
mhm.
So they want to see people who still values education as a part of their life, and no matter how old are you and how like that your education path has been, you still like if you want to get that degree that you're interested in, they provide the possibilities to get this.
That's
And
what,
the
yeah.
yeah, the student body's GS is very different. As I said, you can be like in the same classroom with 40-year people and take the same classes.
Mhm. Okay.
In 20.
But again, like you're open to be taking any classes that Columbia University offers,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, what they say in the application, they say that you just like considered in a different school, but still you're taking the same classes, the
Mhm.
same professors, and you like at the end of the day you still get the same degree.
Mhm.
They
Okay.
do.
Um, okay, how did you describe, okay, discuss this, also discuss this. Yeah, we don't have any more questions. Guys, do you have any? You have 1 minute to share them in the chat below. If we don't see any, we're just wrapping up and finishing the event. 1 minute starts now. How to
How
get
to
the
get.
gap year? Great question.
Um, Gap year is I would say I was scared at the beginning of the gap year because I feel like this is the year that like a break in your whole, so you go to school for 11 years and then you have like a year for not doing anything. But if you do like in even in like Central Asia, we have a lot of volunteering possibilities. You can also work in the industries that you want to. You can what you can do. I mean, you can make most of it as long as you know what you want to do. Like divide your time that you have in your like everyday life for like the year that you have in order to this year make a jump for your like next year when you go to school. So the all of the processes that happens during the gap year has had their outcomes by the time that you will apply.
Mhm.
So it depends. If you want to be a doctor, try to do a shadowing, volunteering, like assisting doctors. If you want to be a like IT technician or like computer science major, you gotta better do internships with the IT companies and like other industries. I mean, it has to be aligned with the goals in the like in your next year. So it depends.
Mhm. So first, get clear on what your goals are and what you want to have achieved by the end of the year. Plan it out and, manage the time and your attention and make better decisions and learn yourself to make decisions that align with getting towards that goal. And yeah, and eliminate distractions. This like, very hard work ethic, hustling culture.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not the hustling culture. It's mostly how you get things done. Where your attention flows, your work goes and your time
Yes.
goes. And if it goes the wrong way, and if you didn't eliminate the things that take that away, attention away, then yeah, you lose time. I mean, maybe you don't, and you will make meaning around these decisions. Like, oh, I haven't. I find meaning in them, but then okay. How did you use that time? That's what they will want to see in your essays when you apply. Not
Mhm.
not yeah, not just in what you find meaning. Okay. For everyone watching, thank you all for joining today's session with Sitora Yusupova from Columbia University. Personally took great pleasure in interviewing you, Sita. Learned a lot. Your story is extraordinary. And I think our audience learned a lot from you as well. A couple of takeaways from this interview for everyone, right? First, if you're a non-traditional applicant or you face circumstances that make you doubt whether you can get in or you cannot get in because of what happened, you can, because other pathways do exist. You just must search for them and you'll find,
Mhm.
right? Columbia School of General Studies is one. There are other programs such as
Yeah.
Yale,
Yeah.
Whitney,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Brown, Rue. Other colleges might offer such programs as well, not only top universities. I mean, like other liberal arts colleges. Um, yeah, gap years are important and can be very valuable if you know how to manage your time and if you know how to plan them out. Second, the third one, start early, very early. Pursue your passion, do things at scale. Don't worry about scaling too much, I think. Because, like in Sitora's case, you were just doing something that you really were passionate about and you were doing your best work. And then it all started, making sense and expanding into something new and new and new and new, right?
Mhm.
Um, Yep. And the last one that is not directly admissions related, but more Sitora's life lesson, right, related, is that like when you're put into circumstances, don't let the circumstances negatively influence your decisions, right? Like remember what's important for you and what you want the most and shoot for it and go for it. Yeah. Again, Sitora, thank you a lot for being with us today and sharing your experience. Yeah, and we're done. Anything else to say? Closing word?
Just very grateful for the opportunity to like to speak, to answer the questions. I've never imagined myself being like the person, because I was usually the person who asks, but now I'm the person who like actually responds. So, but I'm very grateful to Freshman Academy, to Valeria itself. You're very kind and like very polite person. That was a very
Thank you.
good time, I would say.
Yeah, we did have a really good time. Thank you everyone for joining and goodbye. That's it for today. See you in the next episode where oh my God, where we are going to discuss gap years in detail. Stay tuned. Bye bye.